Welcome back. Previous tactical manuals have established how to build a financial bunker using the TFSA and FHSA to shield capital from the CRA and inflation. But the most common question remains: what asset goes inside the shield? Where does a safe, reliable return actually come from? The reality of the Canadian economy is defined by a unique and powerful structure: trust. Canadians trust their core institutions. They trust their banks with their savings. They trust their telecommunication companies to keep them connected. They trust their utilities to keep the lights on. This trust is not accidental. It is built upon decades of enforced stability. But there is a silent trap inherent in this trust. When capital is left sitting passively in a traditional savings account, it is working for the bank, not the saver. While the bank may provide a 2 or 3% return on deposits, it is reinvesting that capital into its own highly profitable, entrenched operations, generating double-digit returns for its shareholders. The saver is left holding currency that is rapidly losing purchasing power to inflation. The real solution is to switch sides. Instead of just trusting these institutions with deposits, the objective is to own them. Stop being the customer. Become the owner. The goal is to collect the profits that these powerful systems generate every single day. This is the definition of passive income in Canada. The strategy for building safe wealth in Canada is simple. Invest in the oligopolies that the government legally protects. The Canadian market is not a chaotic, hyper-competitive landscape. It is dominated by powerful, entrenched players with massive barriers to entry. Consider the big five banks: Royal Bank, TD, Scotiabank, BMO, and CIBC. These institutions control over 90% of the country's banking assets. They are effectively too big to fail and are insulated from foreign competition. They have survived every major financial crisis in modern history. Why invest in them? These banks are profit machines, generating billions in earnings quarterly, regardless of the overall economic climate. They are famous for their dividend payments. Royal Bank, for instance, has paid dividends to its shareholders continuously since 1870. Investing in these banks means securing a piece of that profit stream. You are buying a small fraction of a protected oligopoly. The stability is unrivaled. For a conservative Canadian saver, the banks form the core of a reliable, high-yield income portfolio. They provide the psychological safety required to stay invested for the long term. Next in the portfolio arsenal are the telecommunications giants. Canada has some of the highest wireless and data costs in the world. Why? Because the market is dominated by a protected triad: Bell, Rogers, and TELUS. These three companies control the vast majority of the infrastructure. Their operations are incredibly stable because they provide an essential utility in the modern world. Every business, every government, and every individual requires internet and mobile phone service. These companies create incredibly predictable, recurring subscription revenue. Every Canadian understands the inevitability of their monthly phone or internet bill. Investing in these companies allows for capturing a portion of that predictable cash flow. While they may not offer explosive growth, they provide stable, rising dividends, often yielding 4 to 6%. This makes them ideal for an income-focused investor. Owning the telecoms means owning the digital plumbing of the nation. It is a fundamental defensive play, securing a stream of payments from a protected subscription-based ecosystem. If banks and telecoms are the visible systems, utilities and infrastructure companies are the invisible backbone. They are the definition of boring but beautiful investing. Consider companies like Fortis or Enbridge. They operate the power lines, the natural gas pipelines, and the regulated distribution networks that keep the country functioning. Their revenues are highly regulated and incredibly stable. Why are they attractive? Because everyone everywhere must pay for electricity and heat, even during a severe recession. Their customers are not optional, they are mandatory. Companies like Fortis are classified as dividend aristocrats because they have increased their dividend payments every single year for over 5 decades. They provide consistent, predictable cash flow that grows over time, often outpacing inflation. Investing in regulated utilities provides an anchor of stability for any portfolio. They may never be exciting, but they provide the foundation of a guaranteed rising income stream that safer savers require to build long-term confidence. The argument for owning these oligopolies is clear: stability, regulation, and historical performance. But how are these weapons tactically deployed? For a pure beginner, selecting 5 individual stocks can be intimidating and potentially risky. Picking the wrong bank at the wrong time could lead to short-term underperformance. This is why the first defensive maneuver for many safer savers is to utilize an exchange-traded fund, or ETF. A high-yield Canadian dividend ETF, such as XEI or VDY, allows for buying all the protected oligopolies at once. With a single investment, you can own all Big 5 banks, all major telecoms, and the critical utilities diversified into one convenient basket. This immediately mitigates the single stock risk while still capturing the core income stream from the entire Canadian economy. Alternatively, if your goal is absolute maximum yield, you might selectively target individual blue chips. For example, focusing only on the highest yielding bank and utility rather than owning them all. Both are valid tactics, but the ETF approach offers the simplicity and diversification that pure beginners require to survive their first year in the market. Execution is straightforward. To own these companies, one simply needs a brokerage account. However, there is a final trap to avoid. Many safe savers are sold mutual funds by their traditional banks. These funds often carry high management fees, sometimes 2% or higher, which quietly devour compounding growth over time. Furthermore, traditional bank brokerages may charge $10 or more for every single trade. This is acceptable for large sums, but for beginners trying to build a portfolio with small, regular contributions, these fees destroy performance. The smart tactical choice is commission-free investing. Digital platforms like Wealthsimple or Questrade allow for purchasing these Canadian stocks or ETFs with zero trading fees. This allows you to build a position incrementally, month by month, without seeing profits eroded by transactional costs. The system is set up to benefit those who understand its math. Stop being a passive depositor. Learn the rules, own the protected institutions, and create a permanent, legal stream of passive income. Shields up. If this tactical manual provided value, hit the subscribe button and join the community. Run the numbers and start compounding.